Good evening, you're watching Profit 360 with me Shreyansi Singh, and right now we're going to be talking about gold and silver prices. Of course, you do have that breakneck rally that has crashed and how. Let's talk about the prices first. Yesterday you did see gold falling more than 12% below that $5,000 an ounce level, which was actually a bit of a legend, that level. That was, something that analysts were quoting in some of their most aggressive forecasts. You did have that level achieved with that $5,000 plus sort of, price that we saw coming in. Other than that, when you talk about silver as well, you're looking at a plunge of about 36% when it comes to silver prices. We'll talk about the triggers as well. But first, let's also talk about what really caused this. You do have, number one, the de-dollarization trend that has been unwinded just a tad bit because you have a stronger dollar right now and indications of a stronger dollar after Kevin Warsh's nomination as the Fed chair pick. Now, that's one very important factor because that was a very important trigger when it comes to the markets. And you do have gold that is priced in greenback, and you do have that little bit of reaction coming in. Other than that, the debasement trade that has also seen quite the unwinding there, and that's also something that you're seeing very clearly being reflected in prices. And the third one is profit booking. Now we're here in the middle of Zaveri Bazaar to be discussing what the profit booking looks like on ground. And we're going to be talking to sellers, we're going to be talking to jewelers as well, and try and understand a comprehensive analysis in terms of the entire impact when it comes to this particular crash in prices. Now, right now with us, we have Arzu, who is, first things first, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगी कि आप यहाँ पर सोना खरीदने आए हैं, बेचने आए हैं?
हम लोग सेल करने आए हैं आज।
आपने कितने पर खरीदा था और आप कितने पर अभी बेच रहे हैं?
हम लोग ने 1 वीक पहले 165 में लिया था, बट कैसा है, वेडिंग के हिसाब से हम लोग फैमिली वेडिंग के हिसाब से 3 डेज के लिए नहीं थे बॉम्बे में, तो डाउन आ गया। तो अभी ऐसा लग रहा है आज सेल कर दिएंगे, नहीं तो और डाउन जाएगा तो फिर और मुश्किल हो जाएगी। तो आज हम लोग सेलिंग के लिए आए हैं।
तो आपने एग्जैक्टली 3,000 कम में इनफैक्ट बेचा है?
यस, आज हम लोग लॉस बुकिंग करके हम लोग आज सेल कर रहे हैं। कभी डाउन फिर आया और फिर वहां से फिर लगा कि वापस जाएगा, तो फिर हम लोग वहां से फिर बाइंग के चांसेस लेंगे, बाइंग करेंगे।
तो आपको अभी लग रहा है कि मतलब काफी गिरने वाला है, इसलिए आप अभी थोड़ा लॉस लेकर के भी आप वो कर रहे हैं?
यस, ऐसा लग रहा है। मार्केट देखे के और जाएगा डाउन, चांसेस है जाने के, तो डेफिनेटली डाउन जाएगा ऐसा लग रहा है।
और अगर आगे जाके आप वापस से खरीदने का प्लान कर रहे हैं क्या?
यस, अगर मुझे लगा कि मार्केट अब जाने के चांसेस है तो वहाँ से डेफिनेटली हम लोग बाई करेंगे।
मगर अभी आपको नहीं लग रहा है?
अभी नहीं, अभी हम लोग चांसेस नहीं ले सकते। ये मार्केट में चांसेस बिल्कुल नहीं ले सकते।
Well, absolutely. So there you go. So that's the entire update coming in terms of what Arzu also had to say. She's here. She's selling at a loss of about 3,000 rupees per unit that she's actually bought. And she thinks that it's not going to go up from here. When she does think that there's that sentiment that seems to have returned just a tad bit, she's going to be back to buy more gold as well. That's the view coming in from a consumer. But right now, let's also switch focus onto the jeweler side of it. And right now, we do have Kumar Jain with us. He's joining in to try and decode the perspective when it comes for jewelers as well. What are you seeing here? Are you seeing a little bit of panic selling, if you will?
No much panic. I think the routine customers comes and sell the golds. Now this is running for just 2 days, as the silver has gone down around 1 lakh rupees and gold also gone down to 22,000 rupees. But this will come, and again next week there is a gold will rise. So people are buying in their own way. People are selling in their own style. Basically now this is a wedding season. So customer comes to buy the gold more rather than selling. So we look up to that whatever the selling side is more than the buying side.
Right. So right now you're saying selling side is more than the buying side in this market right now?
Definitely. Buying side is more than the selling price.
Okay. And what I also wanted to understand is, are you seeing a little bit of more demand coming in as far as silver is also concerned?
Yeah, silver people are those who want to play in silver, they play in silver. Those who want to buy gold for the long, they buy the gold for the long. So that way, vice versa, both are running. Silver and gold, both are.
So when it comes to silver, is it demand for bars and coins that you're seeing a little more of, or is it jewelry when it comes to silver?
More is the silver right now.
सो सिल्वर में आप जो देख रहे हैं अभी, आपके पास बार्स और कॉइन्स सेल करने के लिए ज्यादा लोग आ रहे हैं या ज्वेलरी का आप डिमांड?
नहीं, बेसिकली अपने अपनी डिमांड के ऊपर है. कुछ कस्टमर्स गोल्ड दे रहे हैं, ले भी रहे हैं, गोल्ड दे रहे हैं और ले भी रहे हैं. कुछ सिल्वर में ज्यादा विश्वास रखते हैं, वो कस्टमर सिल्वर ले रहे हैं और सिल्वर बेच भी रहे हैं. अब सिल्वर भी कल और आज में 1 लाख रुपए का फर्क पड़ गया. सो बेसिकली थोड़ा दिमाग में मंदी जैसा है लोगों का.
जी बिल्कुल. और अभी आप जो इंक्वायरीज देख रहे हैं, आपको क्या लगता है कि मतलब जैसे अभी प्राइसेस कम हुए हैं, तो आपको लगता है कि आगे जाके करेक्शन किसी तरीके से आपको दिखाई दे रहा है कि उसके बाद थोड़े और इंक्वायरीज आएंगे या आ रहे हैं अभी तक?
बिल्कुल, करेक्शन नेक्स्ट वीक में $5,900 है. अभी $5,000 चल रहा है. नेक्स्ट वीक में $5,900 है. तो सब अलग अलग डिपेंड्स है कि भाई लोग सोना भी लेंगे और लोग चांदी भी ले रहे हैं. इस समय दुकानें फुल बरस भरी हुई है. कंज्यूमर जो अपनी सब प्रोडक्शन ले रहे हैं.
तो आप जैसे बोल रहे हैं कि अभी वेडिंग सीजन है, वेडिंग सीजन के हिसाब से लोग बाइंग कर रहे हैं, तो आपको क्या लग रहा है कि ज्यादा आपके पास जो ग्राहक आ रहे हैं वो वेडिंग सीजन के हिसाब से आ रहे हैं या फिर जो इन्वेस्टमेंट के रूप में देखते हैं सोने और चांदी को, वो भी लोग आपके पास आ रहे हैं?
नहीं, ज्यादा करके वेडिंग सीजन वाले आ रहे हैं. मेरे यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट बुलियन जो ज्यादा नहीं बिकता है, कम बिकता है बुलियन.
राइट. एंड अभी जो आप देख रहे हैं स्मॉलर कैरेट ज्वेलरी के बारे में आपका क्या ख्याल है कि उसमें डिमांड आपको किस तरह दिख रही है? क्योंकि जैसे कि अभी हमने देखा पिछले साल जो सोने का रेट गया, जो चांदी का रेट गया, वो काफी हाई गया, स्पेशली सोने का जो
मेरे पास कस्टमर जो है मारवाड़ी गुजराती कस्टमर ज्यादा आते हैं जिनकी किलो की बाइंग रहती है. तो यूजुअली कस्टमर्स जो आ रहे हैं वो सब शादियों वाले ही आ रहे हैं. ज्यादा करके शादियों वाले आ रहे हैं और उनकी बड़ी बाइंग रहती है.
बिल्कुल. तो अभी आपके पास जो इन्वेंट्री मतलब अभी मौजूद है, जैसे प्राइस बढ़ा तो क्या आप उसको मॉनिटर करते हुए अपना इन्वेंट्री लेवल या खरीदना बेचना अपने तरफ से आप कुछ ऊपर नीचे कर रहे हैं?
मेरी तरफ प्राइस का कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. कस्टमर आता है और ले जाता है बस बड़ा क्वांटिटी में. प्राइस की उनको कोई लेना देना नहीं. मेरी ये शोरूम 100 साल से चल रहा है. आई हैव स्टार्टेड विद 15 रुपीज एंड टुडे इट इज 1,50,000 रुपीज. सो इट मेक्स नो डिफरेंस फॉर मी.
तो जैसे आप अभी कंज्यूमर से कस्टमर से बात करते हैं, उससे आपको सेंटिमेंट क्या अभी उनसे महसूस होता है कि वो स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंटिमेंट लेकर के आ रहे हैं या उनको लगता है कि अभी गिरेगा सोना?
बिल्कुल, लोगों के पास पैसा बहुत है और लोग आ रहे हैं और पूरा ले रहे हैं. और हमारे में मारवाड़ी गुजरातियों में 1-1 किलो की बाइंग रहती है बच्ची को देने के लिए. तो लोग ले रहे हैं कि इस प्रकार पूरा कंज्यूम हो रहा है.
Right. So, as you can clearly see, this is what the sentiment on ground looks like. Yes, there's wedding demand. Yes, there's a lot of buying also right now. There's not a lot of panic selling, at least as of now. But you do have some consumers, just like the one that we've talked to right now, who's saying that they are actually booking losses right now because the sentiment is not quite strong. But let's also go across to Anuj Gupta and try and understand what the picture looks like when it comes to prices as a whole. Anuj, my first question to you, of course, is going to be, in terms of the entire de-dollarization trade that we've seen a little bit of a reversal of. Do you see that being a continuation of this particular trend? Do you see that this is going to be very sustainable? You're going to have a stronger greenback henceforth as well?
See, in last 2 days, we saw a huge correction in gold and silver prices due to this strength in dollar. Recently, we have seen that dollar tested the low of 96, but after the latest Federal Reserve meeting, they, saying that they will cut interest rate aggressively. And after that, we saw, a little recovery in the dollar index after Mr. Donald Trump announced the name of the new Fed chairman. And after that, we saw a sharp correction in gold and silver prices. See, de-dollarization is a long-term perspective, but yes, in a short term, after the new name announced by the Donald Trump, we saw the uncertainty regarding the, Federal Reserve chairman will be abolished. That's why we have saw a little correction in the the safe haven demand of gold and silver prices. That's why we saw yesterday correction in the gold and silver. But yes, the de-dollarization issue is still is there, and everybody is like to trade in their own currency, and definitely we saw a less demand of dollar in the coming time, so that will give support to the gold and silver prices in the long term.
No, well, absolutely, and something else that, you're looking at also is a little bit of that debasement trend that we're seeing, right now emerging. So do you, now that, we have concerns related to the Fed also sort of going away with Kevin Walsh's appointment nomination as well, what are you looking at in terms of that entire debasement trade then?
As far as concern about the new Fed chairman, everybody expecting that he will able to control the inflation in the US, and they will control the interest rate in the US, and they will cut interest rate aggressively. So that is the main case behind to appoint the new Fed chairman. However, everybody in the Fed chair, in the Federal Reserve, is keep looking eyes on the US data, particular in the jobless data and the inflation. But yes, still position is not in hand. Inflation is rising in the US due to the tariffs, and also US jobless rate, unemployment rate is not so good. So that is very keen, very early to say that what he will do after appoint as a Fed chair. But yes, US economy is not looking so positive, but that's why we saw a sharp correction in dollar index and also in the bond yield. But yesterday we saw a little recovery in the dollar index after announcement of the name. So we have to see for the long-term perspective that how he will do the work for the US economy and how it will control the inflation. However, we saw that Mr. Donald Trump putting lots of tariff in every economy. Lately, he is saying that he will put tariff on the economies who are working with the Cuba also. So that will also put negative pressure on the economy. That will create a safe haven demand for the gold and silver. But yesterday, we saw a correction in the gold and silver prices due to the profit booking mainly, we can say that.
Right. No, absolutely, and profit booking, of course, is a very important piece in the picture right now. But what I also wanted to understand is what you're looking at from here on. What is your perspective from here on for the near term? Are you looking at silver and gold perhaps scripting a little bit of a comeback right now? Is that something that you're penciling in, or, you're expecting that prices might just fall further from here on?
See, there are two more things is there. One is the margin increase by the CME. Lately, we have seen that CME increased the margin in gold, silver, and platinum trading activity. That's why also we have saw a correction in the COMEX, boards also. Second thing is the gold and silver ratio. Gold and silver ratio was almost 46, but now yesterday it was trading around 57. It means that might be silver will correct or gold will rise. So the ratio should be maintained around 70. So we are expecting that the ratio will increase from here, and probably we can say that right now market is in a range, and we are not expecting so much volatility on a higher side, because prices are capped on at yesterday highs, because silver made a high of 4,20,000 and gold made a high of almost 1,80,000 kind of level. So we are not expecting so much higher side, but yes, trend is positive for the long term perspective. But in a short term, we are expecting a little range bound momentum, as traders are now looking for the fresh cues from the economic side, and also looking for fresh cues from the Federal Reserve side. I think this is a time to wait to invest in gold and silver prices. But yes, this is a long-term perspective. If somebody wants to invest in long-term perspective, so this is a chance where we can start investing on a SIP way or a very smaller quantity base.
Well, absolutely, and I also wanted to try and understand what you think about the next 6 months. What is the picture going to look like for you as well? Because, when you talk about silver prices, you do have quite the premium that we've seen coming in when it comes to the devil's metal. You have quite some volatility as well. But from here on, what are you expecting in terms of the next 6 months? Because, you've seen quite the premium coming in. 6 months, what's your perspective?
See, currently silver in international market is trading around almost $80 per ounce, and gold is trading around almost $4,800 per ounce. So we are expecting that in 6 months, silver may test again $90 to $100 per ounce, and gold may test again $5,000 to $5,200 per ounce. Because See, this is a short-term perspective, and due to this, the margin increasing and gold-silver ratio and the profit booking, we saw a sharp correction in the gold and silver price. Even we have seen in the January month, we saw a huge, and a steep, upside momentum. That's why we saw a V-shaped correction in the gold and silver. But yes, for the long-term perspective, 6 months down the line, we are still optimistic for the gold and silver prices, and we are expecting silver may test again $100 and gold may test $50 to $100 per ounce.
And so that's, the take coming in as far as the next 6 months are also concerned. What are the key threats to these kind of prices that you've seen? Because you've seen quite the correction. What is the fine print that you're reading when it comes to gold and silver right now? Is there anything else that you're a little bit worried about that could actually cause a lot more volatility when it comes to prices?
See, one is the tariff issues. There is no clarity about the tariff, and Mr. Donald Trump is not able, or even economists are not able to sort out the tariff issue. So that will create an uncertainty, and also the geopolitical concern we saw in this last month, starting from the 1st of Jan, the Venezuela, and now it is on Cuba, Canada. So that is still a very, a negative threat for the economy also. And also we have seen geopolitical tension has been increased between US and Iran. So that will create geopolitical concerns for the economy, and that will also provide support to the gold and silver as a safe haven demand. But yes, the main eye is on the new Fed chairman policies, how it will work and how it will take it US economy from here, and how it will manage the interest rate to control the inflation and all the things. So that will again a little threat for the the gold and silver prices. But yes, overall, if you see that there are lots of things in spite of the margins and the geopolitical concerns, uncertainty in the US economy, so that will provide support for the gold and silver.
No, well, absolutely. And Mr. Gupta, I'll ask you to hold on for just a few minutes because, right now our studio is Zaveri Bazaar. We do have another jeweler joining in. And we'll try and understand from their perspective as well what this correction is currently looking like and what they're seeing when it comes to inquiries. Sir, what's your name?
Prashant Jain.
And you've been a jeweler for how many years, roughly?
So this is a generational business. So I've been a jeweler since birth probably. But I've joined the business when I was say around of 20 years from now.
And have you seen anything like the correction that, we've had in the last few days? Have you seen a lot of corrections that are similar, or is this a little bit of a different correction that you see?
In my term, I've seen silver coming down twice in its period where it is, first it had gone to 75, which it come down to again 30. Again it rose, it came down to say 1.25, again it came down, and now this is the third rise that I've seen. Silver as it is has always gone more than 50% down. Even we've seen yesterday where silver from a high of 120 has come down to 73. That's almost 45%. That's a good correction I can see. And here also further we see silver going down a little more, and gold might be coming down by 10 to 15%.
In terms of the demand that you're seeing on ground, right, when it comes to jewelry, what kind of inquiries are you getting? Do you think that ever since prices have started rising since last year, you've seen more inquiries also come in? And what is the categorization of that also? Is it more inquiries for silver that you're starting to see trickle in?
Since the past few months where the gold is increasing and the silver is increasing at a very rapid rate, we've seen a lot of investors coming in who wants to buy silver coins, gold coins for investment purposes. But as just Thomas, we can see jewelry sales have come down drastically. From the last few months, we've seen a sale cut down of 50%, though the value is remaining the same as gold prices going up. So turnovers have not changed, but the quantity in what we are selling has drastically reduced.
The quantity has reduced. All right. So I also want to try and understand what you're seeing in terms of investment demand, right? Because when it comes to silver, are you seeing people buy more of bars and coins? Is that a little bit of a shift in consumer behavior that you're also seeing?
Customers nowadays, we've seen that people have their savings. So when they know that some product is going rapidly, and everybody as a household, a wife, a woman in the house, when it saves her money, she sees that if she's buying something, it's in her hand. So that's more security as per her. She doesn't understand what what a demat account is, how like if you buy a silver online, then it stays in your demat. They don't understand all these things. They need the physical stuff in their hand. So with that, they keep with all their savings, they get it here, they exchange it for gold or silver, and they keep it for their whenever they need it.
Right, and are you seeing consumers get a little more rattled right now with the kind of correction that we've seen? Because, like you said, like we've just been talking about, you do have this entire correction that we've seen play out, which we couldn't have scripted maybe a week ago, right? So are you seeing that little bit of panic selling or a little bit of rattling of the sentiment as well?
Panic selling will always be there but what rate silver and gold has gone up, people had made up their mind that someday or the other this is going to come down falling from a mountain. So people are still prepared, but we've seen a panic sale happening right now where people are coming in and trying to sell off whatever they purchased, booking their profits, most of them. But a few of them must have bought it at a higher price, they might be waiting. But even in the near future, after a small correction, we see a good positive in silver and gold as well.
And is budget a part of the conversation at all? When you speak to consumers, are you picking up that sentiment ahead of the budget that, they're telling you that, okay, we're expecting, because there's a lot of chatter about, import duties, and there's a little bit of that wish list as well when it comes to the budget. Is that something that makes it to your radar as well?
As per our talks, what I've seen that there are no talks for gold happening, but with silver getting, imports are rising so high. With the shortage of silver in the markets we've seen, I think government might do a increase in the custom duty there. Otherwise, everything I see, there's no change here.
Right. So there you go. That's the entire budget wish list as well. That's the entire budget perspective as well when it comes to gold and silver, and that's the view coming in. When it comes to another jeweler right here in Zaveri Bazaar, but tell you what, let's also go back to Mr. Gupta, who's standing by with us. Mr. Gupta, I wanted to quickly get your closing comments as well as we close in on the discussion. Try and understand what you think prices are going to be doing from here on, because we've seen quite the rally, we've seen quite the fall. You've talked about 3 months, you've talked about 6 months, but closing comments then.
We are not expecting so much higher side price momentum recent, because there's a margin calls by the COMEX, and also there's a margin call by the domestic market. But yes, definitely, if somebody wants to invest or somebody wants to start investing in gold and silver, there is a time, because we have seen almost 30% correction in the gold silver prices and 20% in the gold. So there's a time where someone who missed the recent past rally, they can start investing in gold and silver with the small quantity, because gold and silver is a product where you can create your wealth. We saw in last 4 or 5 years that it's a part of the wealth creation. So somebody wants to invest in gold and silver, they can create a wealth over here. But yes, it should be for the long-term perspective. You can say a 3 to 5 years. So if somebody wants to start investing in gold and silver, they can start from here. That is a time where they can start investing. And we are expecting, if you talk about 4 or 5 years, we can say that that will provide a very good ROI.
Right. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you for joining us and giving us your views on both gold and silver prices. Well, that's the key takeaway coming in. Invest in small quantity, and that could give you good returns over a longer period of time. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you for joining us. Well, that's all we have today on the special edition of Profit 360 on gold and silver prices. Thank you for watching NDTV Profit. Stay tuned and keep watching NDTV Profit.